Oh, best beloved, greetings one, greetings all. I feel I must apologize because I haven't put up the newest chapter until now. I had it one done, but I didn't feel it was up to snuff because it felt rushed and it covered too much at once, and some of the stuff was forgotten. So what I'm doing now is I'm redoing it, and I'm going to try to redo it for the first 24 hours after I woke up from the coma. So my mom greeted me and was happy that I could talk or see her again, not vocal, because of course I had the tracheometry, and I figured I had it in me, so I realized that, so I couldn't talk. And that I wouldn't be able to talk until it was removed. So I had to figure out how to communicate with everybody besides hand or eye gestures and that. But I was able to start with the yes or no questions through my head nodding. And so I was doing that for the most part, and I was able to kind of communicate everything right about. Now, I will admit that I'm naturally right-handed, and my right side was gone because of the stroke. So I had to relearn how to do everything, start everything up with my left hand. And so I focused on that when nobody was around, because I'll be honest, the left hand and arm were like spaghetti arms. I mean, because they weren't used to being used as much as they were. But I had to learn how to use it. And also, it was weird because I couldn't feel my arm or my leg on my right side as an arm and a leg. Now, what was weird is that my right arm was, because of the nerve damage, felt instead of feeling it, I felt burning ice on my right arm. And as it got better, it started to go down a little bit. Okay, so I had to get used to, first off, feeling that burning ice feeling all the time from my right hand, just to feel like I was told that um feeling would return like pins and needles, but I didn't feel that because of what was happening with my arm. Also, with my arm, I couldn't feel where it was, if that makes sense. It was off to the side. In fact, I'll be honest, I thought my arm was 20 feet to the right of me. That's what it felt like. So I had to get used to that too. Also, what I would do is, when I was practicing with my left hand, I was trying to work on my right hand. Now, because of the fact that it was really wiggly, I wasn't able to use my right hand for thumbprint ID because I couldn't feel anything. So my phone had to be put to pushing in the number for my passcode, but because my left arm was not that strong, it was really wiggly. I had to get my password removed off my phone for a while. No big deal, because of course I didn't have anything taking anything off it. So what happened was, when I first recovering, I had to have that. Now, one of the first things I noticed, besides, of course, I couldn't talk and I had my arms, or what they were, was my head felt like it was pushed over to the side because of the stroke damaged my head. Turned out they couldn't operate in my head to relieve the pressure because of the fact of where my stroke was, which is at the base of my skull, right near the the spinal column. So they couldn't do it because otherwise I could be paralyzed. So what they kept me full of is they pumped me full of anticoagulants. So I had to have a shot of that every couple hours to get rid of the blood, bruising and damage and scabbing in this area, so the wound could heal inside. Anyway, but yeah, the funniest thing is that my body, particularly my head, felt really foreign to me because I was used to, I've had like 50 plus years of my body, I was feeling it, but because of what happened, my body felt differently, and it was like having to process it in my brain, because my skull felt compacted, but it wasn't. It was the same exact skull. It's just having to get you used to it. And for the most part, I have. Unfortunately, I'm still having some issues with it, particularly the biting, because I have an overbite. And I'm getting used to that. So it takes a while to get used to everything because, okay, I'm rambling, but okay, basically I told people, and I probably mentioned it here before, that not only do you have to get used to everything and restart building up everything, but everything has to start over. You're learning everything again for second time in your life, so it happens a lot quicker. But it's one of those things you have to relearn everything. It's kind of a pain in the butt, and it will come in. This will come to play later in my life. But I'm doing that, so the first 24 hours, I'm getting used to what my head feels like. And it didn't feel like a vice was reading it, but it felt like my brain and all my senses were pushed over to the right side, which is weird because my brain, or the stroke happened in the base of my right side, so who knows. So, anyway, I'm getting used to this. Turns out what happened, where it happened, affected my vision. Now, at first, it didn't seem like it was really affecting that stuff, but as I'm getting better, I notice more and more what it's doing, and I'll talk about that when it comes up. Anyway, at first I'm trying to get used to being up again, and doing all this stuff for the first time. Now, unfortunately, because I was naturally right-handed instead of left-handed, I had to learn how to do a bunch of stuff over again with my left hand. The first thing I had to learn was how to feed myself. Because what happened was they were feeding me, and unfortunately, because they were still internally feeding me, and also having to train me how to use my right hand or left hand to feed myself. And when I first started, most of the food ended up on the floor or anywhere other than my mouth. But I had determination to get it into my mouth and coordinate myself better. So I would practice when I wasn't eating. I would practice my hand and mouth like this all the time because I was trying to get coordination going. And so, anyway, the first thing I found out when I woke up, well, not the first thing, but one of the first things, was that I was 100 pounds plus lighter. I was lying down, and it turns out the bed had weights in it to see how much I weighed. Now, originally, I weighed over 400 pounds. I know, I was a fat ass. But, anyway, by the time I woke up from the coma and started recovering again, I was 267 pounds. So I lost over 100 pounds in weight, which is good. Unfortunately, I don't know if anybody else has had to lose weight this way. It's one of the cruelest jokes that bodies build fat to use as energy. Unfortunately, it's too difficult for bodies to do that, so they use muscle mass instead. So my body kept the fat going, which was in my belly, so I had a big belly still, but it was eating the muscle mass from my arms and from my legs. So I looked like a spider ball or a beach ball with spider legs. It was quite a sight, and I had, unfortunately, because of the couple months of coma, I didn't have control of my working leg and working arm very well, so I had to practice. So I did that, and I spent most of the time asleep, lying down. Of course, I had to lie down because that was what position I was in. But one of the things I had to do was I was told I had to practice trying to move my toes of my right foot, and also if I could move anything on my right arm to do it. Now, unfortunately, my right arm felt like my bones had been replaced with lamp holders. So it felt really loose, not lamp holders, but lamp levers or whatever they're called. You know, you have lamps on oh god. Anyway, and they didn't feel like it could support my arm. So my arm was like loose and grounded. Slowly and surely I would use my left hand to put up my right arm. And I mean, I was able, by the time, within a week, I was able to move it a little bit, but not much. Uh, so, anyway, as I was recovering and this stuff, they would start teaching me how to do stuff like change myself, brush my teeth, eat. Now, what was funny was that when I was in a coma and had my nightmare, I saw people in my dreams that were trying to do evil to me, and I found out in real life that that wasn't true, obviously. So some of the workers that were forming a gang and below actually were nurses' assistants and were helping me out when they could. And what was funny, not funny, haha, but the young lady who I had a special relationship with when I was in a coma, who I just was nice to. Well, she was the one that was helping me when I woke up to feed myself. So she was there. She fed me and helped me learn to feed myself. And also, she was there because she, for some reason, liked to cut my hair and beard. I don't know why. Because after several months of in a coma, I had a beard and I had my hair long. So she cut it for me and took care of me, which was nice. And it was hard to say thank you very much. Fortunately, I knew what the symbol was for thank you in sign language. It's, Cub Scouts comes in handy once in a while. Of course, it's been decades, but I would thank her as much as I could and stuff. And so, when the first few days, I was getting used to being almost a vegetable, but I was working hard even then to try to be better because I didn't want to be stuck like this forever. Although I got told behind the scenes there was real talk about me staying this way forever or staying in bed and not being able to move. Fortunately, I didn't hear any of this. So I would practice every day, even if I felt it was hopeless. I still had to practice. I was encouraged by my family and friends to keep moving. So, anyway, that's what the first 24 hours were like. And also, it was kind of nice because I could look out the window when I was moved, or I was still in the ICU, which is where I was for the coma. Turns out I was one of the two people there that was important because not only were they didn't suspect me of getting up and coming back to life, but there was another guy there who also was not expected to recover properly, and he was expected to live like I wasn't. Well, I defied the odds and came back. He still was having issues. I found this out when I was recovering. And as I was recovering, and I realized that yes and no was not gonna cut it for me communicating. And I couldn't speak still. And I was getting better, but slowly getting better with my left hand, point, doing maneuvers like I was trying to write letters. And my brother, who came out from Florida, because my mom told him I was up, he came and figured out that I was doing letters with my left hand. He was able to copy what I could do. Of course, I'm a bad speller. No, but it's not always the easiest to do letters with your bad hand. So eventually, though, we got something done where he was able to get some information from me. But I figured that was not the best way to do this. Now, I couldn't think of a way at first to make this easier. Then I remembered Stranger Things. And I'll leave it there because this comes in importance later. So, anyway, I'm babbling again. Fortunately, I was out of the coma, but I was out of the frying pan into the fryer, more or less. So, anyway, I'll talk more about it later in the next installment of chapters. So, you all take it easy, and I hope you have a good day. And remember, this brain damaged guy loves y'all. And if you ever need assistance or someone who has your back, I'm your man, okay? Anyway, you all take it easy and have a good day, okay? Bye now.